Hey, it's Scott Lankford. I'm here to mark and celebrate the 10-year anniversary of publication of my book, Tahoe Beneath the Surface, which came out in 2010. And I'm proud to say won a Nature Book of the Year Award, bronze medal, from Forward magazine back in 2010 also. I'm even more proud to say that the book is still selling well and that the central claims that I made and that Tahoe makes on the planet are still standing strong and standing firm. And that includes the central, essential, undeniable role of the 10,000 years of Native American history and more, that's what we know 10 years later, and more that marks the Tahoe region. So the little 175 years, or roughly, that European Americans have been part of the Tahoe story is just the tip of the fingernail on the vast generations of human habitation here in the Tahoe region. And that is even more important in an era in which climate change, another central feature of the book, is absolutely more out of control, more accelerated, and more dangerous even than we feared back in 2010. So the enormous forest fires that have engulfed the Sierra and all of California and all the West in 2020 only re-emphasize the role that climate change has and will play not just in the past of Tahoe's history, but into the future. And the crucial role of indigenous wisdom in guiding us through this new Anthropocene era. In fact, I would like to remind us, sadly, that the most recent statistics on the clarity of the lake are the worst that they've been. Here we are celebrating the 90th birthday of Dr. Charles Goldman, who began those measurements bravely and with great vision in 1968. And we now know that invasive species, that the warming of the lake, that the global pollution that's falling into the lake are all impacting the lake and the forests around them in ways that we did imagine in 2010, but which sadly are even worse. And then finally, I want to say on a hopeful note that every single story in this book is a story of survival. It's a story of healing. It's a story of hope. Even the stories of the vicious racism that came out of the Tahoe region, even the stories of the environmental destruction that shocked conservationists at the time, even these disheartening stories of personal failure for people like John Steinbeck turn into stories of hope and survival, as do especially the Native American stories of Sarah Winnemucca and others in the book who stood up against enormous odds with art, with vision, with creativity, with courage. That's what lies beneath the surface of Lake Tahoe. And I hope you'll join me for a first read or reread of the book now that we've reached the book's second decade on the planet. An updated version, I hope someday, but as I say, these pages have stood the test of time and I stand behind what I said in 2010, and I stand behind the central role of Lake Tahoe in American history. It's still true. So much of American history begins at Lake Tahoe.